Right, Alice Springs just hit 46 degrees while Melbourne S sitting at 12. That's a 34-degree difference across one country. And if you think that S wild, wait until you see what S brewing in the tropics. Is your area about to cop a drenching, or are you in for another week of this relentless heat? Because right now, the Bureau of Meteorology has severe weather warnings active across 4 states, affecting over 8 million Australians, and what develops over the next 72 hours could reshape the entire eastern seaboard S weather pattern. I am going to break down exactly when this system hits your area, and by the 4-minute mark, you will know whether you need to prep for flooding rain or brace for extreme fire danger. But first, chuck your location in the comments right now, city and state, because tomorrow I'll be diving into personalised forecasts for every region you lot mention, and trust me, the differences between suburbs can be massive with this setup. So let's just get straight into the timing. Sydney, you are looking at showers developing Thursday afternoon around 3 o'clock, heaviest overnight, clearing Saturday morning. Melbourne, dry until Friday evening, then solid rain Friday night into Saturday, 20 to 40 millimetres possible. Brisbane and the Gold Coast, you've got scattered storms Wednesday afternoon, but the main event doesn't arrive until Thursday night. Perth, you are in a completely different pattern, mostly sunny, 32 degrees today, 34 tomorrow, isolated afternoon storms from Friday. Adelaide, you're on the knife edge of this system. If it tracks 50 kS further south, you cop a soaking. 50 kS north, you stay mostly dry. Hobart, cold front arrives Thursday with showers maxing at 15 degrees. Darwin, typical build-up conditions, afternoon storms, 33 degrees. Humidity sitting at 85%. Canberra, you'll see the first drops Friday morning, heaviest Friday arvo. Now here is the thing, and this is where it gets interesting. Access and the European model are showing completely different scenarios for southeast Queensland. Access is bringing that low pressure system directly over Brisbane, which means heavy rain, possible flash flooding, and a complete change in the current hot, humid pattern. But the ECMWF reckons the system stays offshore, which keeps Brisbane drier, but maintains the oppressive humidity. That 100-kilometre difference changes everything for Brisbane, Ipswich, the Gold Coast and the Sunshine Coast. Tomorrow morning, S-model runs should sort this out, so definitely check back because this uncertainty affects millions of people. Let me paint the bigger picture. We've got a massive heat mass sitting over Central Australia, Alice Springs, as I mentioned, 46 degrees, Coober Pedy 44, Birdsville 43. This heat is slowly drifting east. And ahead of it, we are already seeing that classic Australian setup where hot, dry continental air meets moist tropical air. That boundary is currently sitting over inland Queensland and northern New South Wales. And along that boundary, we're seeing storm development. For you lot in Newcastle and the Central Coast, you are right in the firing line Thursday afternoon. We are talking potential severe thunderstorms with heavy rainfall, damaging winds, and there's even a slight chance of large hail. The ingredients are all there, plenty of moisture, instability in the atmosphere and strong wind shear. BOM will likely issue a severe thunderstorm warning Thursday morning, so keep an eye on that. Townsville and Cairns, you are in the typical wet season pattern. Afternoon storms, 20 to 40 millimetres in the heaviest cells, clearing overnight. Then we do it all again tomorrow. Nothing unusual for late January in far north Queensland, but, and I'll get to this at the 9-minute mark, there is something developing in the Coral Sea that could become significant next week. Wagga Wagga, Dubbo and inland New South Wales, you restuck in this hot, dry pattern until at least the weekend. Dubbo maxing at 38 degrees today, 39 tomorrow, 40 on Friday. The concerning part is the fire danger. We're re-looking at very high to severe fire danger ratings across much of inland New South Wales. If you're in these areas now, the time to check your bushfire survival plan. Total fire ban likely Friday. Geelong and the Bellarine Peninsula, you'll see that cool change roll through Friday evening, temperatures dropping from 28 degrees Friday to 18 on Saturday. That is a proper southerly change straight off the Southern Ocean, and it'll bring some useful rain too, 10 to 20 millimetres. Ballarat and Bendigo, slightly different timing. You're already looking at rain developing Saturday morning, persisting through the afternoon, could see 25 to 35 millimetres, which would be welcome given how dry January has been across much of Victoria. All right, if you haven't dropped your location in the comments yet, do it now. I mean it. Tomorrow S forecast is going to drill down into specific suburbs and regions, and I can cover everywhere unless you tell me where you are watching from. Even if you're from somewhere remote, Coober Pedy, Mount Isa, Broken Hill, chuck it in the comments. The more specific, the better. Now let's talk about that compounding threat scenario I mentioned. The issue with this setup isn't just the rain or just the heat at S, how they interact. Areas that have been baking in 40-degree heat for the last week have rock-hard ground. When heavy rain hits that surface, you don't get good soaking rain, you get runoff. Flash flooding becomes a real concern, especially in urban areas where stormwater systems are already dealing with heat-stressed infrastructure. Shepparton and the Goulburn Valley, this is particularly relevant for you. Thursday afternoon storms could drop 30 to 50 millimetres in an hour. On normal ground, that's manageable. On ground that's been baked for 10 days straight, that becomes problematic. Small creeks can rise quickly. And we've seen this pattern before in January storms. Bunbury and the southwest of Western Australia, Uari tracking nicely. Sea breeze keeping coastal areas pleasant, 26 to 28 degrees, while inland areas like Collie and Manjimup are pushing into the low 30s. Typical summer pattern. The only thing to watch is Friday and Saturday, when we might see some isolated thunderstorms develop inland, then drift west. Nothing major, but worth keeping an eye on. Geraldton, 34 degrees today, light winds, beautiful conditions. Broome, you are sitting at 33 with 80% humidity, classic top-end conditions, even though you are in WA. Kalgoorlie, 37 degrees, bone dry and likely to stay that way for at least another week. Here is something that got me paying attention, and I'll be watching this closely over the next 24 hours. That tropical low I mentioned earlier, the one forming in the Coral Sea, the GFS model, has it intensifying more than Access does. If the GFS is right, we could be looking at our first named cyclone of the season by early next week. Now, hang on, let me clarify that. I am not saying a cyclone will definitely develop, but the ingredients are there: warm sea surface temperatures, low wind shear, monsoon trough active. By tomorrow, we'll have much better clarity on this. So yeah, check back tomorrow, because if this system does organise, it changes everything for coastal Queensland from Townsville north, Mount Gambier and the Limestone Coast. You are getting that Friday rain as well. Could be useful for farmers, 15 to 25 millimetres. Whyalla and Port Augusta, you are borderline. Might see a few showers Saturday, might stay dry. Really depends on that exact track I mentioned earlier. Launceston and northern Tasmania, that cold front brings proper wintry conditions Thursday and Friday. 8 to 12 degrees, showers, southwesterly winds picking up to 40 km an hour. If you are in the Highlands, you might even see snow above 1,000 metres. It's January, but Tasmania does its own thing. Devonport and the northwest coast, similar story, but slightly milder. 12 to 15 degrees, showers, windy. Coffs Harbour and the mid-north coast of New South Wales, Thursday arvo is your critical period. Scattered storms developing inland around lunchtime, then moving to the coast by mid-afternoon. Heavy rainfall possible, frequent lightning. If you've got outdoor plans Thursday, maybe have a plan B. Wollongong and the Illawarra, you're in a similar boat to Sydney. Thursday afternoon and evening, showers and storms, then clearing Friday. Toowoomba, you are west of that coastal activity, so you'll see some storm development Thursday, but nothing like what Brisbane might cop. 20 to 30 millimetres possible, mainly from afternoon thunderstorms. The Sunshine Coast, Caloundra up to Noosa, this is where that model disagreement really matters. If Access is right, you are looking at widespread rain Thursday night, 50 to 80 millimetres possible, flood watch likely. If ECMWF is right, scattered showers, 20 to 30 millimetres, nothing dramatic. By tomorrow morning, we'll know which scenario is more likely. Catherine in the Northern Territory, build-up storms continuing, 32 degrees, humidity oppressive. This is just standard wet season stuff for you lot. Let me address something quickly. I know some of you have been asking about February outlooks. The models are suggesting we might see a shift to a more active pattern across southern Australia in early February. That could mean better rainfall for Adelaide, Melbourne and southern New South Wales. But we're still 2 weeks out, so there is plenty of time for that to change. I'll start diving into February patterns more seriously next week. There's one detail that I reckon is crucial to understand about this current setup. That boundary between the hot inland air and the cooler, moister coastal air, where those two air masses meet, is where all the action happens. Right now, that boundary is oscillating back and forth across the ranges. When it pushes east, coastal areas get a taste of that inland heat. When it retreats west, the coast gets sea breezes and relief. Over the next 3 days, we're expecting that boundary to collapse eastward, which is what triggers the rain event. But the exact timing and location of that collapse determines who gets drenched and who stays mainly dry. Sydney, western suburbs, Penrith, Richmond, Campbelltown, you are going to feel that heat Wednesday and Thursday morning. Could see 40 degrees in Penrith Thursday before the change arrives. Once that change comes through, temperatures will drop 10 to 15 degrees in an hour. It's going to be dramatic. Hang on. Let me check the latest fire danger ratings. Right, so we've got extreme fire danger declared for parts of inland New South Wales Thursday. That is the second highest rating. If you are in areas like Coonabarabran, Mudgee, Tamworth or Armidale, be extremely cautious with anything that could start a fire. Total fire ban will be in place. This isn't something to mess around with. Mildura and the Mallee, Uree staying hot and dry. 38 today, 39 tomorrow, 40 on Friday. Not much relief in sight for you until early next week at the earliest. Rockhampton and central Queensland coast, afternoon storms continuing, typical wet season pattern. Nothing severe expected, just your standard 20 to 30 millimetres here and there. Mackay through to Proserpine. Similar story. Humid, uncomfortable nights, afternoon storms providing some relief. Now, about tomorrow's forecast, and this is important. Tomorrow morning, I am going to have the latest model data, the overnight observations, and a much clearer picture of how this system is tracking. If you've put your location in the comments, I'll specifically address your area. I'll also have updated information on that potential tropical development. So make sure you check back around this time tomorrow. Port Hedland and the Pilbara, 38 degrees, isolated storms inland, coastal sea breezes, keeping it bearable. Albury, Wodonga, Uree on that border with this system. 20 to 40 millimetres possible Saturday, or you might only see 10 to 15. The model spread is still significant for your area. Canberra, let me be more specific. Friday morning starts dry, cloud increasing by 10. First showers around lunchtime. Steady rain Friday arvo and evening. Clearing Saturday morning, 20 to 30 millimetres likely. Orange in the central tablelands, showers and storms Thursday and Friday. Useful rainfall 15 to 30 millimetres. Temperatures dropping from 32 degrees Wednesday to 22 by Friday. I reckon there's still about a 20% chance this whole system tracks further north than expected, leaving southern New South Wales and Victoria drier than forecast. That why tomorrow update matters. Griffith and the Riverina staying hot and dry. Fire danger elevated. 39 degrees Thursday, 40 on Friday. If there's one thing to remember from this forecast, it is this. Thursday afternoon through Friday is the critical period for the entire eastern seaboard. That when the main action happens. If you've got important outdoor plans, Thursday afternoon onwards is risky. Friday probably a write-off for a lot of the coast. Port Macquarie and Taree, Thursday arvo. Scattered storms could be severe. Keep an eye on BOEM warnings. Wagga fire danger remains very high through Friday. I know I mentioned this earlier, but it bears repeating. Conditions are genuinely concerning for inland areas. The Great Australian Bight has a weak low, but it's not expected to develop into anything significant. Esperance and Albany on the south coast of WA, beautiful conditions continuing, 26 degrees, light winds, perfect summer weather. Mount Isa and northwest Queensland interior, hot and dry continues. 42 degrees today, 43 tomorrow. Uluru and Central Australia, if you are doing the tourist thing, prepare for extreme heat. 45 degrees Wednesday, 46 Thursday. If you're already hiking, go at sunrise or dawn Go. Actually, let me be specific about that tropical system. Current models show weak circulation in the Coral Sea, 800 kilometres northeast of Cairns. Sea surface temperatures are 29 to 30 degrees, plenty warm for development. Wind shear is low. The question is whether it has time to organise before moving into less favourable conditions. If it intensifies, earliest impacts would be Monday or Tuesday next week for far north Queensland coast. Tomorrow, models will show much more. Let me give you the weekend outlook. Saturday, rain system moves offshore, clearing for Sydney, better weather for Melbourne. Brisbane potentially still dealing with showers. Sunday, high pressure builds back, mostly sunny across the southeast. Temperatures climbing again. Perth stays sunny all weekend. Darwin continues afternoon storms. Hobart clears Saturday. Next week could see another system midweek bringing more rain to the southeast. But that is 7 days away, so I am not putting weight on it yet. Look, here's the reality. Weather forecasting isn't perfect, especially with these complex coastal systems. I am giving you the best information from the current models, but things can and do change. That is why these daily updates matter. What I am telling you today might shift 20% by tomorrow, and that is just how it works. Before I wrap up, one more comment reminder. Seriously, drop your location below. Tomorrow I am going through specific requests and I want to make sure I am covering the areas you care about. Whether you're in a capital city or some tiny town in the middle of nowhere, let me know. For tomorrow's forecast, I'll have updates on that tropical system, clearer timing on the rain event, fire danger updates for inland areas, and I'll address every location you lot mention in the comments. Appreciate you watching. Tomorrow's video will be up around this same time, probably 10 o'clock in the morning. Don't miss it, because honestly, the next 72 hours are going to be dynamic across the entire country. Different story for different regions, but dynamic everywhere. stay safe out there, especially if you're in those high fire danger areas. And if you're about to cop heavy rain, make sure your gutters are clear and you know where your important stuff is in case of flash flood.